one is West Ham away. Keep winning. That's what you can do. Even if at times, we were concerned watching it as I was, but I think it's about building. And if Arsenal can actually get into that top four, think of what that means for the history of the club. Puts us in a different stratosphere. OK, well, the fans are still enjoying it. I'm sure the players are as well. Let's get some reaction now then, because Des Kelly is Granit Xhaka. Des.
Granit, what a goal. What a win. Does that feel like a giant step towards that top four place?
Absolutely. I'm very happy for the 3 points, first of all. Secondly, very happy I helped the team with the goal. It was a long time I didn't score. And it's always good if you score at home with the fans, with the family I had today as well here. And but the most important is the 3 points. Was a 50-50 game in the second half, my opinion. We didn't start well, or we started well, and in half of the second half, United was pressing us and did much better than us. But we take the 3 points today.
That's why your goal was so important. It's a decent way to score your first goal of the season. That was a rocket.
Yeah, I don't know. I like to score against United. It's not my first one against them since I'm here. So yeah, very happy.
Glenn Hoddle called that a net buster, which is nice, isn't it? But you got off to the perfect start.
Look, and he's right to pick up on things that weren't perfect, and we'll talk about what Mikel Arteta would have taken out of that game. But in terms of the timing of his goal and the importance, they were under the cosh at this point, weren't they, Arsenal? They were, and there's been lots of misgivings about this player, and I've been quite critical. But today, I think we must stand back and say, 2.5 years ago, 60,000 people booed him off the pitch here, and he just will not go away. And he stood up today and scores. I mean, that just turned the game. Of course, the penalty miss is significant, but even now, it's there for the taking for Manchester United to get back in. And he just decides, do you know what? I'm going to hit this from distance, and you know that he can do this. He should be doing it more, of course. It's his first goal of the season. You could say De Gea there can't see it, but I think he's stepping round. He's offside. He's stepping across Lindelof as well as the Arsenal player.
I think it's a great strike here. Don't get me wrong, it's a fantastic strike, absolute arrow. But if you go back to that shot where De Gea is looking around the player, surely he's interfering with play. He's standing in an offside position, the striker. Yeah. De Gea leans round him. It's got to be given a look. Watch this. Look, he's absolutely in line with De Gea. De Gea reaches round him to have a little look. He leans.
But is Lindelof not just as equally blocking that?
The first player in front of him is Nketiah, the Arsenal player, who's offside.
Yeah, but he's got that screen in front of him. I don't think he's getting near that.
It doesn't matter if he's getting near it or not.
But why does VAR not intervene?
But it doesn't matter if he's getting near it or not. If he's having to lean round the player that's standing in an offside position, can we get Peter in, please?
Yep.
Where's Peter?
Peter is on standby. And just for the record, we messaged the current Premier League goalkeeper who said that goal should have been disallowed because 100%. He was leaning so far he'd never get back. Let's bring Peter in. He did play for Man United, by the way.
Who did?
The player you spoke to.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, maybe. Didn't he?
No.
OK. Let's hear from Peter now. Peter, just share with us what you think as a referee when you see that.
Well, yes, Rio's right in terms of the interference. The offence is committed if the opponent interferes with the line of sight of the vision of the goalkeeper. And you can argue he's looking around him, but also Lindelof is there as well. And I think it's a bit of an angle here where you can see he begins to look round. And it's Lindelof who actually, when the ball struck there, is it Lindelof? Is it? Well, how do you know that as well, Rio? So the point is,
there's one player. It's the person who's immediately in front of him. Surely that's the player you're looking round.
Well, no, because that player is not necessarily in his line of sight. It's in his line of sight, and the VAR has looked at it. He's looked at various angles and decreed that it's actually Lindelof who protects the ball rather than Nketiah, and therefore the goal stands. But yeah, there is a train of thought that says that it was Nketiah. But when you're looking for that clear evidence, bearing in mind the VAR's got that clear evidence, I'm suggesting they've got this one right.
Peter, because Lindelof is there, of course, he creates that element of doubt. If it's just the Arsenal player, then you might say, OK, is he looking round him? But when you've got two players there, and one of them is the actual defender, then it's a grey area.
I think United today could feel hard done by many decisions that have gone on today, the referee.
We'll have a look at another one.
About the handball.
Just to be clear on that one, that isn't the reason that United lost the game today, and it is a subjective decision, and we will never take subjective decisions out of football. But let's have a look at another moment that I know has frustrated Rio Ferdinand today. You cleared it up very well during commentary, Peter, when you said that it's simply the laws of the game is the reason why a penalty kick wasn't given here. Yeah. So
So
Could you just explain it one more time? Because
Wow.
there's a lot of conversation on social media about it.
As they go down, look, his arms extended out there to save him from falling onto the ground.
No, come on,
well,
man.
let me finish the law here, Leo, because the law is quite specific. It does say if the arm is there to prevent him from falling on the floor and the ball strikes his arm, it cannot be a deliberate act. Now, I, as a referee, don't know the intention of the player. All I can do is go on his actions, and his actions there is defended by the law, because the law says the ball strikes his arm as he's falling over to prevent himself. It cannot be a deliberate act.
He's outside the box.
Can I say something? He's not trying to stay. He's not trying to prevent himself from falling. He's trying to stay up to keep himself going, to stay alongside play, so he can be an obstacle of getting towards goal.
Which means
the ball goes with his hand. If he was falling, sorry, Martin, if he's falling, he takes with his one hand and then falls over.
It's subjective, but I think if we look it back, I think it's outside the box, Rio.
You're falling.
I think maybe
if we could just freeze it when it touches the player's arm, which is.
He's in the box, mate. It's in the box. No, it's in the box.
I'm not certain.
It's in the box.
The whole ball in the box.
His hands in on the line. It's in the box. Look.
Yeah, you're quite right. If there was an offence, I don't think there was, but if there was an offence, the ball strikes the arm is on the line is part of the penalty area, therefore it should be a penalty kick if it's seen as that. But again, I'm not hiding behind the law, I'm quoting the law, and the law is quite specific, and the referee did the right thing.
I just don't think it's consistent. I'm not sitting here saying Man United would have won or should have won the game. I'm just saying decisions like that lead to frustration. And if I was in that dressing room, I'd be sitting there going...
I think you can say that if the referee gives that, VAR is not going to intervene on that.
Probably. Peter, thank you very much. But just to be clear, that isn't the moment, again, where United lost this game. There's a myriad of issues with Man United, and those aren't the...
Yeah, I, as a fan and football and watching football, I get frustrated when I think decisions should have been given another way. And I just feel that today I thought the referee and VAR probably got far more wrong than they did get right.
Okay. Well, in a minute we will focus on the football. We'll have a look at the...
Miguel, that's a big victory, isn't it? A precious 3 points. What do you make of the performance?
A big performance and a game that I think he had everything. He had moments where we showed real quality, where a threat, we scored 2 goals, created chances. A game where we have to suffer. A game where at moments we were a bit lost and lacking energy, and they were on top. A game where we were really efficient in the boxes. A game where we had luck when we needed luck, which is really important in this game. But overall, extremely happy. It was a massive game for us, and really enjoying it.
Yeah, it could have gone either way. That Granit Xhaka goal went in. That kind of ended the argument. It's a fantastic strike, wasn't it?
Yeah, if you have to write the story of the game and say that Granit is going to score from there, probably you don't do it. But that's the beauty of this game. It's always tough. They have some exceptional players. You are always like this. Every time they have the ball in the final third, something can happen. And so happy to win again.
That was Granit's first goal of the season. Tavares, of course, that was his first Arsenal goal at all. That's the benefit of pushing forward your fullback.
It is, and the way he played as well. And then he had a few difficulties in the second half, and we helped him when we changed shape. And they are really young. You can sense it at some stage in games that we have to make other decisions. We are trying just to will to play and run forwards. And overall, really happy.
The second goal was, give us an update, because he came off a little bit of a concern there.
Yeah, we had 4 or 5 players really with difficulties to start the match. He was one of them. Ben was another one. We had Granit with an issue in his eye as well. Eddie, that hasn't played any minutes.
Coaster, and this is the roller coaster for these 3 teams. So Rio's already said that he thinks that's it for Manchester United. What do you think, Martin? Is it now advantage Arsenal?
Yes, but I think the Tottenham game is really significant, even more significant. That is obviously a 6-pointer. West Ham away. That does fall between their European fixtures, which will be handy for Arsenal, but don't underestimate West Ham. Brentford today really is what it's about for Spurs now. It needs to focus in. It's difficult when your opponent, someone you're vying with for positions, playing on the same day. They need to focus now and get their 3 points. Brentford, though, might have something to say about that. But United, they look gone now. I
think it's Arsenal's to lose now. I think we always talk about momentum at this stage of the season. They went through a really tough spell. I think they lost 3 on the bounce, and then now they've won 2 games against 2 significant big teams around them. Man United, who was contending for this position, and Chelsea, who are above them. 2 massive results. Still, there was a little bit touchy today. It was still on edge a little bit, but if these 2 results in the last week can't produce some confidence throughout this squad to now play into the end of the season and to be successful,
Rio,
I'll be amazed.
We can look at those fixtures, but maybe it comes down to the best manager. And maybe Manchester United have had maybe the worst manager. I don't want to be critical, but maybe that's what it comes down to. Because you have to look at everybody in the boat, and that boat for United is sinking. And if you think that Arteta is a young, promising manager up against Conte, who knows he's tried and trusted, he gets success, and that's what it's down to right now, those two teams. It's gone down to the North London battle.
I think you have the Arsenal and Spurs players. You've got two managers who, the players you can see at the moment, are either starting to believe in that manager or they do genuinely believe in the manager. I do definitely feel that here at Arsenal, especially with the young players coming through and now he's integrating that. Man United, they've got an interim manager who, as I said earlier, things haven't gone to plan, and there's a lot of players out of contract and their minds might be elsewhere. And
Rio,
it seems like that.
If you looked at the squads, though, the best squad, I think Manchester United are the best pool of players to choose
On paper,
of those three clubs.
Yeah.
But maybe the manager, we mustn't underestimate the manager and the role that he has in all this. And we look at Klopp and we look at Pep Guardiola. Those two clubs are miles away because of their managers,
but
what they're doing with it.
You can't just say, I don't think it's just that. I think the whole shape and structure of the clubs are very different and they're further forward, those two clubs you mentioned there, but also the players can't go...
They don't want to hide, we're not asking them to hide behind that.
Without any
but the manager plays a part.
Responsibility. I think all of them have to take responsibility. The Man United players in recent weeks especially haven't done enough to put themselves in a position to strike, to hit fourth.
You could certainly argue that the Manchester United fans and the club and maybe even the players would have expected more from Ralf Rangnick's time in charge. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was fired for not being good enough and the win percentage has dropped significantly since Ralf Rangnick came in, and United found themselves just short of finishing in the top four. So let's see then what Ralf Rangnick made of the performance and where this now leaves Manchester United, because he's nowadays.
Ralph, we saw you had plenty of opportunities out there. It must be difficult to come away with nothing.
Yes, I think we showed an improved performance, but at the end, a disappointing result. I think we bounced back well after that early goal that we conceded and had numerous chances in the first half and in the second half to score more goals.
It was a bad start. I mean, you were caught sleeping at the back pretty much, weren't you, Telles and Varane?
Yes, that was for me the only weak side of our performance today that we did. We were not very happy with it, but as I said, in the end, improved performance, but disappointing result.
And you missed the missed penalty. That's a gift. You have to take that.
Yeah, I would call it a gift, but yes, if you are 2-1 down and get a penalty, have the chance to come back after being 2-0 down, it would have helped us a lot if that had been the equaliser and probably also changed the whole game. But we didn't, only hit the post. We hit the post twice, plus the crossbar. So, yeah, as I said, in the end, very unlucky for us.
What do you think would Erik ten Hag could be?
Look, Ralf Rangnick has plenty of critics, but one thing you can't criticise him for is his honesty, and there was complete honesty there in saying it's gone.
Yeah, well, I said it earlier as well. I'm in full agreement with him. I think the team haven't done enough to warrant finish fourth. Liverpool was a low point, and then today to concede another 3 goals. So defensively, they're not firing at all. You can pick out mistake after mistake defensively, again, as individuals or as a unit. But today, I think as important was they didn't kill this team off. They had a chance when Arsenal were hanging on at times in the game in the second half, and they created chances, and they allowed the keeper to either make good saves by not putting the ball in the corners, or they were saved by the woodwork at times and missed a penalty, obviously. So you got.
I think he's the man in the moment. That was a key moment when they got that completely wrong for me. And I watched the manager there, Rangnick, and I know I'm on his case because I am on his case because he looked strangely disconnected and dispassionate of what's happening to Manchester United. He is now. When's he going to become a Manchester United supporter, as a fan? I don't see any feeling or any anger in him as a manager. So it concerns me.
He'll be deflated, though. I mean,
He's resigned to the situation. That's not a Manchester United club that I recognise.
He's lost
when
the
I see
fight.
the manager.
Lost the will to fight. It looks like there's no that spark. Obviously, it's hard to have a spark, but you like a bit of fire. You know what I mean? Maybe that's just not in his personality or in his character, which you have to understand. But this is at a low point for Man United. Like you're sitting here before the game hoping Man United come in and win, but you have to be honest. I'm on my way in today to this game, and you're in the WhatsApp groups with your mates talking. You're thinking, I can't put a case forward for us to get a result here.
Here's a question. We came on air today and you said we have to still chase top 4 because that's what this football club is built on.
Yeah.
That's gone now. Do you want Manchester United to be in the Europa League or the Europa Conference League next season, or do you now, with the Champions League basically gone, want a season like Arsenal have had, out of Europe and a chance to rebuild and reset?
listen, you finish where you finish and you've got to deal with it. You can't pick and choose. You can't say, oh, listen, let's try and finish outside of the European places. Doesn't happen. Wherever you finish, you deal with it. But listen, the new manager's now in place. Start building. Give him time, be patient, give him the right tools and the right resources around him to try and become a successful club. But he needs time.
The Gunners might be back. We made a big play, didn't we, last season? First time in 10 years, no European competition at all. You could be back in the big time, Martin.
Well, on today's evidence, Arsenal are ahead, aren't they, on that rebuild? Because they are in another period of their history where, you know, both clubs have lost two great managers, Jake. That's not easy to replace, and I think Arsenal are closer to doing that than Manchester United are right now.
Yeah, well, if Manchester United managed to get 10 points from the 12 possible, it would still be their lowest ever points total in the top flight. So whatever way you look at it, it's been a difficult season, but a brilliant day today for Arsenal and for their fans, of course. Attention this evening moves a few miles away from here to Wembley for the big fight. But right now, attention is on what Spurs can do. You haven't lost it.
I'm ready. If anyone pulls out, I'm there.
Your guard's not high enough. Get your hands up a bit.
It's all about the other teams reacting. So let's get straight to it, because BT Sports Score are standing by to take you through the rest of the afternoon. From all of us here at the Emirates, thank you very much. Over to you at the BT Sport HQ.